This Q30 Sports presentation is brought to you by the Bobcat Shop, located at 1010 Sherman Avenue in Hamden.
Hello everyone, and welcome to yet another special Q30 Sports presentation here on Q30 Television. My name's Jon Alba, and today I'm joined alongside Jaden Daly from the Daly Dose of Hoops blog. And Jaden, thanks so much for joining us today as we break down the MAAC playoffs.
John, my pleasure. Always happy to come out and take care of you guys. Thank you for having me.
Well, you do a great job, and we appreciate all the services that you provide for the schools who participate in MAAC play. So let's get down to it. Jaden, the MAAC playoffs, Massachusetts, whatever you want to call it, MAAC 14, it's finally upon us. I want to see your initial thoughts of both sides of the league thus far, the men's and women's. What are your initial thoughts going into playoff play?
Well, John, I'll tell you this. The Quinnipiac men has surprised even me, and I've made the bold prediction of picking the Bobcats to finish fourth. They ended up finishing third. When they started 7-2 through MAAC play and swept Manhattan, started to get the feeling that it was a special year for Tom Moore and company. But Ike Azatam and Usman Drame becoming the two-headed monster that everyone thought they were capable of being. And in a guard-dominated league, it stands to reason that Zaid Hurst would have a breakout season, as well as Umar Shannon, who unfortunately went down for the season late in the year. But the Bobcats are ready to roll. They come in, and they're still a formidable opponent on the men's side, even on the women's side as well. Trisha Fabry has done a great job stepping up in class after running the table in the Northeast Conference last season. The Gold Rush has been replaced by a new Gold Rush, so to speak. Jasmine Martin and Brittany McQueen still leading the charge. These are teams, John, that on any given night can put a scare in any opponent, and I would not be surprised to see either one of them on Monday playing for a championship.
Now, the men's team 14-6 this past year, good for a number 3 seed heading into the MAAC playoffs. As a 3 seed, the Bobcats could end up facing a pretty tough team like Manhattan down the line, for example. But the Bobcats have actually had success against Manhattan. Despite all the prowess that the squad has, do you think Quinnipiac matches up well against them in the playoffs?
I do, and I think they have Manhattan's number, so to speak. They won the first game after George Beeman left a few minutes in, and then they won the second game without Usman Drame, which was a much more impressive victory considering how much Drame has meant to this team. Quinnipiac basically scored a couple of shorthanded goals to use hockey parlays on Manhattan back on January 26th at Trinity Gymnasium. And then there's Iona. They split with the Gales in the regular season, crushing them at the TD Bank Center early in January, and then Iona returned the favor a couple of weeks later on their home floor at the Heinz Center. But difference now for Iona, David Lowry is coming off the bench. I think with Tom Moore's depth and with his physical front court, they can turn Lowry into a non-factor with the right moves. So
is Iona the team to watch in this men's side of the bracket? Obviously dominating fashion all season long, 18-2. Or is there someone else who's going to come up from under the radar?
Well, Iona and Manhattan are going to be the two teams that everybody's going to take a look at. Watch out for Canisius. If they are able to escape Siena in the quarterfinals on Saturday and they get Iona in the semis, that's anybody's game. Billy Barron defeated Iona almost single-handedly on January 17th, and he can shoot the lights out of any building when he gets going. He's hard to stop. Also, Siena. Jimmy Patsos comes in his first year after 9 years at Loyola. He knows the MAAC terrain better than just about anybody, John. Siena's a dangerous team. They're coming in on a roll. They're on a bit of a streak. They've won, I think, 7 of their last 9 coming in. That's a team that, if they get an opportunity, can also put a scare into an Iona or a Manhattan.
Now, you mentioned Siena. I know you're a big Jimmy Patsos guy, but one other guy who's been making quite the impact in the MAAC this year has been Tom Moore. You said Tom Moore was going to have a pretty good year, and I think you hit that one dead on the nail. How important has Tom Moore been this season for Quinnipiac?
He has been a godsend, so to speak. Johnny has been crucial to the Bobcats' development. Being a Jim Calhoun assistant, he learned the right way, a physical, hard-nosed rebounding style, and it carries over not just grabbing boards, it carries over into their offense, it carries over into their demeanor off the court as well. Tom Moore was the perfect guy for this program to take the next step forward. And we saw that throughout the year, coming off the number 16 in the NEC last season, where they theoretically could have had a 2 or a 3 on the last day of the season before LIU Brooklyn came back. we knew this team was going to be a force to be reckoned with in the MAAC. And I think much like Syracuse in the ACC, most teams in the MAAC didn't know exactly how to adjust to Quinnipiac. They were caught off guard by their unorthodox style, and that's translated very well up in Hampton this season.
Absolutely. So we move from the men's side now to the women's side. Now, Trisha Fabry was picked as the preseason coach of the year for the MAAC women's section of the basketball spectrum. Now, the women's basketball team, Jaden, you said it before, last year, historic season. This year, tougher competition, 14-6 final record on their behalf, which is still an accomplishment in all regards, but there's a little more competition on the women's side, isn't there?
Absolutely, and with all due respect to everyone in the NEC, you're not going to get a team like Brian Georges has at Marist, or that Billy Godsey inherited from Tony Bozzella at Iona with D'Amica Martinez and Joy Adams, two players that can play on any level and are dominating the MAAC, and Iona's opponents as well. You look at Fairfield with Joe Frater and his veteran roster that just keeps overachieving and chipping away, always there, never counting them out. Quinnipiac fits right in. Coming in, we knew they would be a top 4 team with everything they had coming back, with Martin, with McLean, with Gillian Abshire, coming back to run the point. And the depth that was such a key last season in the Bobcats going 21 for 21 in the regular season and Northeast Conference tournament before falling to Maryland in the NCAA tournament. You knew it was going to be a good year, and for Trisha Fabry to come into this MAAC tournament the way she has, I think that's something that anyone would have signed for. So
what's the key for Quinnipiac heading into this playoff series, this run that they're going to try to make? Who's got to step up the most on the women's side?
I think it's got to be Brittany McLean. And to be honest with you, she's been inconsistent at times in big games. She's good for a double-double on any given night, but against some of the bigger lineups, against Iona with Joy Adams, who's a walking double-double, against Marist with Toria Rose and Leanne Ockenden, playing lockdown defense, as well as Emma O'Connor on the wing. McLean has to step up and take charge. With the right matchup, she can create a mismatch on just about anybody, and she needs to be going for 15 and 10 pretty much every night this weekend in order for Quinnipiac to have a shot on Monday.
All right, so Jaden, to wrap things up, I'm going to ask you this. Do you see either of these Quinnipiac Bobcats teams going dancing within the end of the week, or is it going to be someone else on either side?
Right now, with a gun to my head and being forced to make a pick, unfortunately, I don't see either one in. But if they can get Iona, who is the top seed on both sides, on an off day in the semifinals, that matchup is theirs for the taking. And as well as Manhattan, if they can dominate and do what they did earlier in the year, they have a shot. I don't know if it'll happen, but their chance is just as good as anyone else's, John.
Well, Jaden, thanks so much for joining us. Don't forget, you can check out Jaden on Twitter at Daly Dose of Hoops and online at dalydoseofhoops.blogspot.com. And don't forget to find out more about Q30 Sports on the internet. You can head over to Q30television.com. For Jaden Daly, I'm Jon Alba. We'll see you next time.